Hello, you pro gamers. Welcome to Swapping Joysticks. It is the 22nd of November, 2024. I'm your host, Ben Ostwick, and joining me, as always, is the one that writes things, but he also speaks things. It's Ed Nightingale.
Occasionally speaks things.
Yeah.
Only here.
You don't really, though, because you kind of sit alone in the office most of the time, so you're probably not talking to anybody.
Staring into space.
Yeah. How are
That's
you
nice.
doing?
Who are you calling a pro gamer?
Pro gamers, well, the pro gamers are the people watching because obviously they're watching us, and this is how they find, all the important things about gaming.
Sure.
But the big thing is that I got a PlayStation 5 Pro because, we've not been on a holiday or anything like that where...
We haven't spent enough money already.
No. Well, I decided to get one.
Sure.
But yeah, welcome. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, we are zoomed out a little bit so that you can see the beautiful Kallax that has been updated behind us with all our Japan stuff, which I don't think
Just a lot of stuff.
There is a lot of stuff. There's at least the minions you can see. Minions and Kirby, and Charizard, that's all I can see. And obviously the star.
And Pikachu.
Yeah.
There are also lots of little Pikmin dotted around.
There are, but nobody can see it because the camera's not that good. Yeah.
They are easily hidden.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome. We talk about gaming, streaming, video games, whatever. That's what we talk about with a bit of gay.
Because we're nerds.
Yeah, we are nerds. And I say that with my BB as in not as big as Bennis, but BB as in Lou from Death Stranding pin badge right next to me. In fact, two of them. So, yeah.
And you're in a Death Stranding t-shirt.
And I'm wearing a Death Stranding t-shirt, yeah.
And where did you get that, Ben?
I got it from the Death Stranding pop-up exhibition. Which
where was that?
Well, I don't want to go over old ground. So if anybody has no idea what we're talking about when we mention Japan, open up a map. But also go and check out the last podcast that we put up. It was like 3.5 hours. Surprising amount of people actually watched it and listened to it. So huge thank you.
To the end.
To the end, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Go watch it. You'll be rewarded with my poop story.
And what a reward that is.
Yeah. It caused some chuckles, apparently. Maybe I'll stick it on TikTok or whatever.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I got a PlayStation 5 Pro.
You did.
It was on Amazon. So Amazon, if you buy stuff from Amazon regularly, I think they kind of offer you certain things that might be like quite high value items like that, but they'll spread it out over like 6 months, but won't charge any interest. So it's just like, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. PS5 Pro is practically just £100 then.
Well... Yeah,
that's
maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, the big question is, do you regret it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Because, we'll go into... Well, let's go into it. I got it. I opened it. It's smaller than my base PS5, which is a bit surprising.
Well, it's a Slim. It's the same as the Slim.
I forget when they slim them down, and then you see one with the slim down. I don't know. Slim consoles feel less beefy for me. Also, I don't like the PlayStation 5 Slim. Apologies if you've got one, but I don't know, it looks a bit flimsy. If you thought the PS5 looked like a router, like the PS5 Slim, looks like
behind me.
One from Temu.
You see, people complain that the PS5 is too big, and I quite like the heftiness of it.
Oh no, I like the heftiness of it. It's like, yes, but the Slim, I don't know, the Slim just looks a little bit naff and plasticky. It looks like a knockoff PS5 that kind of your grandma ordered from Temu. And she's like, oh, I found the PS5. It was only £14. You're like, sure. Did you though?
Well, it's about what's inside.
It's got 10,000 games on there.
Not the looks.
Yeah. And the new one, I mean, yeah, the PS5 Pro looks looks fine. It's got the 3 vents along the side, a bit like the old PS4 Pro hamburger. And yeah, it just looks same. Well, it kind of like it. I don't regret it, but there are definitely. I think it's definitely been underused at the moment, or it's been. There are things that I really want to play that play much better on the PS5 Pro, so there's no regret there. 2 of them being Rebirth and Dragon's Dogma 2, but I think a lot of the other upgrades aren't necessarily as noticeable, especially if you've not been like recently playing it. Because I imagine some games that you play all the time. Someone plays a game all the time and then they suddenly switch to the PS5 Pro. They might notice the difference in quality, but I don't know if you've... Like, I played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for a bit, and I loaded it up and I was like, wow, this looks amazing, but also I remember it looking and feeling amazing as well. So...
Well, we should, I guess, just say the PS5 Pro, what the big sort of pluses about it are that it improves performance. And so the main draw from Sony has been we can give you 60 FPS with 4K and ray tracing and all these fancy things so that you don't have to choose so much between performance and graphics modes and you can sort of have everything all at once, which is a nice thought. But does that actually happen?
No, it doesn't.
Good.
And yeah, I'm still very positive about it, but the games that have made it, there are some that have, I think that, I think a game just recently came out and it was bugged, which was annoying. I don't know if it was the Alan Wake 2 or maybe Star Wars.
Star Wars or Silent Hill?
I don't know. It was one of them that had the PS5 Pro little update or automatic boost to it, and it only gave you one option, but unfortunately that one option was balked. However, the vast majority of games that I've played that have got the PS5 Pro patch, have been patched so that there are, it fully makes use of it. They still give options. In fact, I can't remember which one it was, but one had like 2 extra. Was it Ratchet and Clank maybe? They had like 2 extra options, and it was like you can prioritize graphics, or you can prioritize performance, or you can graphics plus or graphics pro or other pro. And I'm like, just give me one thing. All I want is 4K, 60 FPS. It'd be sure. There are some that it can be 120 FPS, or hertz or whatever. Which, sure, great. I think that looks fantastic. I can't quite tell the difference as much. You can definitely tell the difference, but between 60 and 120, it's not necessarily as noticeable, anywhere near as noticeable as 30 to 60. But yeah, I don't want more options. I just want to play every game in 4K 60. That is fine. Just put that as an option. I don't know whether I'm going to be turning on ray tracing or turning it off, or prioritizing graphics, or having balanced graphics or balanced performance, or the PSSR thing, whatever it is, the USSR, I think it is.
PSSR.
Is it PSSR?
Yeah, that's the AI, the pisser.
Yeah.
The pisser is the AI upscaling.
Which I think doesn't necessarily work on all the games that it's on. I think Dragon's Dogma 2 might have some issues with it. We had some funny glowy grass. But yeah, it's like, stop it. It's turning into PC game. And you were saying this earlier. It's turning into a bit of like a PC thing.
I was going to say that. I mean, I think all the different options are what has surprised me about it, because I think the whole reason people want to play a console is that you just put the disc in, or the cartridge back in the day, or you just now download a thing and you press play and you play it, and it's ease of use. You don't have to worry about components and options and graphics cards and all that shit that you get with a PC. And we've now got to a point where graphics versus performance has become sort of standard, and I think people mostly know what they mean, but maybe the general public don't that much. Maybe it's just us nerds. And now it's kind of all these weird terminologies of extra versions, and every game has their own different terminology. So is it graphics pro or performance plus or whatever? It's like, what does that mean?
I think this was just one game I saw, but yeah, there were some that are balanced.
I think it was Stellar Blade actually that had like 5 or 6 different options. And then on top of that,
might be the one I was thinking of, actually.
But do you want HDR on it? And then do you want motion blur on or off? And do you want ray tracing on and off? And most people don't know what those things are. They don't give a shit. They just want to play a game. And it's for the graphics nerds to go in and tweak them and then write guides online of, if you play this game, this is the best options to have. I don't care about that. I just want to play a game and enjoy it.
Yeah, like I use this thing called Proton DB. So when I'm playing a game on Steam Deck, it tells you like all the best settings to get the best performance and the best graphics, and get it to work on the Steam Deck, because obviously that's very different, but it's also very standardized rather than somebody's PC. And now I'm finding I'm doing that with PS5 Pro stuff, and it's like, you want to turn off the pisser on this game because pisser doesn't quite work. But the ray tracing doesn't change much, so you should keep that on. But put it as balanced rather than as prioritized performance, because otherwise you won't be able to see far things in the distance. And I'm like, just give me one option, please. I just, in my head, I know it's not, but in my head, the PS5 the PS4 Pro was like, hey, you can have this in 4K, but also you can have it in 60 FPS or whatever.
Yeah.
Then the PS5... I thought would be like, hey, you can have the difference, but also no, because I think the PS5 when that came out, it was like, hey, ray tracing, that's the thing that expensive graphics cards have. So let's talk about that. So then you saw some games implement it and have some options, like Spider-Man had kind of ray tracing balance, but ray tracing on, or ray tracing economy or something. I don't know, but it had multiple versions of that. And so I was like, oh, okay, so the PS5 is still having the 4K or 60 performance or resolution. And then, the PS5 Pro, in my head, was just going to be, and I think they said it, like, you don't need to sacrifice one or the other. You can have the quality and the performance. But now, I don't know,
even more options.
Yeah, but now I feel that the publishers or the developers have gone, hey, this is giving us more detail. This is giving us more options to kind of go into more detail in how it performs or how it looks. So they've still kept the two, at least two differences, two different modes. And it's like, I don't know. I'm sure there'll be people that have been like, oh, just keep it on the standard one then, or just switch it to frame rate if you want that. And I don't know, it'd be really cool if we could just play a game and it performs well. And who knows, like, for example, motion blur, maybe the team creating it, want that for effect. Want the effect of the blur when you turn a bit. In fact, I think we turned on motion blur for a bit on Dragon's Dogma 2 at 60 FPS, but with motion blur on, and it actually looked great because there was a tiny bit of stuttering without it. So with it on, you didn't notice it. And so, I don't know. It's just there are far too many options, which I'm sure people that play PC games all the time are going to be like, what are you fucking whinging about? Options are good, but sometimes you want to just play the game the best way.
PC players won't care, but I think a lot of console players, and this is ultimately a console, don't necessarily think like that. I mean, for me, I do want to play the best possible version of a game with the best possible visuals, but I just want to be able to play that and not have to spend 20 minutes going through menus to choose different options. I mean, you've tested quite a few different games. I think some have been better than others. It seems like the best ones that you've tried, and that also seem to have been tried from people on the internet and are raving about, are Rebirth and Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, rather than the best ones, I think they're the ones that it's most noticeable with the changes. I'll just have
that's what I meant, really.
Yeah, I'll just go have a quick look through the ones that I have played. Star Wars Outlaws, that has had, I don't know if it's an official patch or if it's just like the boost, because it automatically can boost games that maybe struggle reaching the 60 FPS or whatever. That played really well. I forgot how like close you are. The camera is like up the arsehole of the player that you have. It's like, can you move it back a bit? And I'm sure, I don't know, it's very The Division 1. If you've ever played it where you have to go into the hub area while you're walking through, it kind of zooms up and you can only walk. It felt a bit like that. But no, that seemed to run well. I didn't have any issues, but I only played that for about 20 minutes. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that one has obviously like quality and performance, but performance doesn't always hit 60. Or at least there are some drops. And also, when you do play performance, there's that kind of weird shimmery look on a lot of things. It just doesn't look very clear.
What, originally or now?
The original.
Oh yeah, so the original is it's slightly blurred. It's like it's got Vaseline over the screen. It's not as sharp, the image.
Which I didn't notice the first time I played it, because I was like, look how stunning this game is, and like what the content was in that game and what you could see. So I didn't really, in my head, I didn't notice that there was like a Vaseline thing. It didn't really bug me. But now, since playing the PS5 Pro version, or I don't know if is it a patch on that as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just incredibly sharp. It's very, like the frame rate feels incredibly consistent at 60, but it's also really, really sharp. And you can see everything clearly. And it feels like what it should have been when it was released. So now there's no way I could ever go back.
Okay.
After playing it.
That's the one selling point so far then.
That it's incredibly sharp, and yeah, it seems very stable, the frame rate on PS5 Pro. Stellar Blade, I played a little bit of that. I mean, her butt looked even shinier, I think, it
was a very, very shiny butt.
Yep. I didn't really notice any difference because it's been a long time since I played that.
There were, I think, as we said, that's the one. There were lots of options, and you were sort of moving the camera around, but the characters seemed very sharp. And it definitely seemed smooth. And with a game like that, you do want smooth frame rates because, I mean, I played it on performance anyway. But
I did. I don't
You
remember
want
it.
smooth performance with such a fast-paced game.
Yeah, I don't remember it having any like slowdown or anything like that, or any kind of weirdness. But when you play it on the Pro, it is incredibly sharp, and like the performance is perfect.
Mm.
Then I played a bit of No Man's Sky, because that apparently has had like a really good, really had an update that works really well. And I remember playing No Man's Sky quite recently and not being very impressed with the performance. And I played it on PC and it was a bit dodgy as well. But I played it on PlayStation and it just seemed all right, but kind of an oldish game. And yeah, when I was playing that earlier, it ran really smoothly and looked incredibly clear and sharp, and there weren't things popping in, and that one did have very consistent frame rate. God,
Very
the people
nice.
that mock us for using frame rate, I'm using it all the time now,
I
and
know.
this is my heaven. Then I played a bit of F1 24, which looked gorgeous, but it always does look gorgeous. So I'm sure there's like a side by side, I might be able to notice it, but like the ray tracing and the reflections looked incredibly kind of, there wasn't any loss in the reflections, which I think one of the first things that go when it starts struggling a bit is kind of like the reflections on a car, for example. They just become a little bit pixelated or a bit blurry, whereas it's not. It's kind of full ray tracing. Then we played a bit of the Wipeout because we wanted to try the PS4 game boost.
Yeah, I didn't really notice much difference, to be
No,
honest.
me neither. Then today they dropped the patch. I say today, yesterday. They dropped the patch for Gran Turismo 7, and that game is beautiful, but it's releasing. It released something where I think you can get up to 120 or 144 hertz for FPS. I'm sure someone will say it's not actually the same, but it pretty much is. So very, very fast. And though I think you kind of lose a bit of quality, but again, that's another one where like, do you want to turn the ray tracing on or off? Do you want to prioritize this or do you want to prioritize this? And I prioritize performance with ray tracing on, and you didn't like it because it was too clean. Too shiny. You said the cars were too shiny.
I mean, maybe it's an artistic or aesthetic thing with Gran Turismo. I generally like my games to have a little bit of grit to them, and I think racing games in particular are often used for graphics, to show off graphics or to show off ray tracing, and it's often things like, look at all the reflections in the cars, and to me it doesn't look realistic because it's so shiny. It's like it's gone a bit too far, and it makes it look like it's a load of really shiny toy cars around a very clean looking track.
Although I played a Spa track in Belgium, and I went around it a few times. Then marbles appeared along the side. It was very very cool.
I mean, that's impressive.
I mean, Gran Turismo.
I don't know. I wanted some. Well, you were playing with clear skies as well, and I think it looks better with some weather. I just wanted a bit of grit, and I wanted the cars to have a bit of, I don't know, just a bit more texture to them, and not just being incredibly, impossibly ultra shiny, which for me is sort of what ray tracing ends up doing when it's overused, because it's trying to be impressive. So it's still don't get me wrong, it's impressive and it's a very good looking game, but I'm also just not a big fan of Gran Turismo. Like, give me a F-Zero high-speed racing game, sort of Wipeout style, and then give me shiny cars in a cyberpunk world at top speed. I'm very happy. I just don't. I feel like Gran Turismo is trying to be realistic, and it ends up looking like toy cars.
If you say so.
Yeah, I do say so.
Turning off the ray tracing for that also obviously increases the performance, but the reflections do not look identical to kind of what's been reflected. It's a little bit more blurred, which I think you like a bit more.
Yeah, it's sort of like when I went to see the Hobbit films.
Okay.
And I did not like the Hobbit films, full stop, anyway. However, I remember I went to see it at the IMAX, and they were raving because it had been filmed in a new camera or whatever that allowed for essentially 120 FPS.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, or maybe it was just 60 or something like that. And most films are not a high frame rate.
24, isn't it?
Yeah. And so it gives you that sort of, I don't know, grainy, artistic kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
And I went to see the Hobbit films, and it was this super high resolution frame rate, whatever, which is meant to feel like you're there. And for me, then it felt too real because you're kind of watching this film, and it's meant to be this fantasy film, and film itself is a fantasy, but then it's like I'm sat behind the camera watching it, and I'm like, this feels really odd, and I really didn't like it. And I think sometimes the sort of boost in performance and frame rate and ray tracing and everything else sort of has a similar vibe. And I prefer a higher frame rate in games, but I still feel like I need there to be a bit of grit to it somewhere. That probably makes absolutely no sense.
Sure. No, I agree as well. I think I watched, I think it was a clip of Downton Abbey, but at 60 FPS, and it just looked like you were watching something being filmed. It was like a stage show. It didn't feel realistic at all. And yeah, no, I'm not a huge. And they were like, it's like that with 4K as well. Sometimes you're a bit like, am I actually here in it? Because yeah, you can see every single detail, and I don't know.
I want to appreciate the cinematography and the use of the camera and the film grain and the color grading and all of that sort of stuff. I don't want to feel like I'm just sat behind a camera watching some people talking, because then it doesn't feel like it's complete to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a film thing.
But the other one, the other game that I played was Dragon's Dogma 2, and that's the game I've been playing all week pretty much. Well, since getting the PS5 Pro, and yeah, it is night and day. I actually played it on PC, and I've got quite far. I'm still not as far as I got on PC. I will be probably quite a few hours still left, but yeah, I played it on PC, but I remember it came out on PS5 original one. I think it was locked at 30.
Yeah, that's how I played it. So I played it for a few hours, and it was at 30 FPS, and I struggled with it a little bit. I mean, it's a great game. I enjoyed it, but visually, yes, it was, or at the time, it was locked at 30 FPS. I think Capcom have patched it since, and they have released a better performance mode. So it does naturally have better performance now anyway, without a PS5 Pro. But I can imagine, yes, that has boosted it considerably.
Yeah, there are obviously options in there, and one of them is balanced, and people say, oh, you should have balance, but turn off ray tracing because it affects something else, or turn off the pisser. And yeah, so I did that for a bit, and I did that while I was in the main town. And if anybody knows the main town, it is just kind of like, it's really, really bad for frame rate.
Chug City.
And I remember when it first came out on PS5, like during there, it was kind of down in like 19, 17 FPS. It was really, really bad. So I thought I'd stick on the balanced one and with ray tracing on and the pisser and see what it was like. And it definitely did stutter. It wasn't a stable frame rate and a bit under 60. So I just switched to performance mode, and it's not as, I believe they say that the graphics and all that, or the quality of the 4K isn't as great as what it is on the performance or the balance mode, but it still looks great to me, and the performance is there 100%. I mean, I've only had a couple of noticeable kind of drops, and that was one when I was in a cave and there was loads of things attacking me, and yeah, and sometimes I think if you're running around the town, there's loads of people around you, it might, especially in the rain. I think it does drop a tiny bit, but the performance is way, 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 way better now than what it was. So on the PS5 Pro, it's definitely the way to play it. And I started playing on there rather than PC because, I don't know, I'm not a massive fan of just sitting back and playing a PC game for hours.
Same.
Because I sit here doing work when I'm working from home. So I'm like, I'm not going to go and do that with a game. I'd rather just sit on the sofa.
Exactly.
So I'm doing that.
That's why I have not played more of Baldur's Gate.
And I'm like about 6 hours into Dragon's Dogma 2. So the game's meant to be 30 hours. So, probably in a couple of weeks I can finish that. Because the other game that I wanted to play is Metaphor. But I think if I kind of stuck with that, I'd be playing that until at least the end of the year. And I won't be able to chat about any other game during the Game of the Year chat.
But you need to finish Metaphor.
I will finish it eventually, but I'm not rushing to finish it now.
You should.
No.
Very good.
Good for you.
So to conclude, then, you are happy with the PS5 Pro. You're glad you bought it. There's a significant difference. Would you recommend it to other people?
Only if you want to play a game that's got a much better performance on it and you think it's worth it. Like for me, it is because I'm doing the playthrough of Rebirth on YouTube, which I'll be going back to soon. And Dragon's Dogma 2, I wanted to finish it and actually chill with it on the sofa. So for me, that's been great. But I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for those two games, I don't think. And it seems that that games are coming out with their PS5 Pro patches all the time now, or at least like they're coming out now. Which, even though the console's been out a couple of weeks, a week,
Yeah, a week or so.
It's interesting here. Like the Gran Turismo 7 PS5 Pro patch. I think that was advertised in the launch trailer for the Pro, and that only just dropped today. So, or was it the F1?
I can't remember.
Because I don't even think F1's had an official patch. So I think that's coming, they said.
And there are games as well as we mentioned, like Star Wars, not Outlaws, the other one.
Jedi Fallen Order.
That's the one. And
or Jedi Survivor.
No, that's the one, yes. And Silent Hill 2, that people have said that on a PS5 Pro with the patch, it actually runs worse. So it's not a complete solution, I guess, of just get a PS5 Pro and suddenly everything's better. It depends on the games, and therefore if they're the games you want to play, and it might be that in a couple of months' time, more things are patched, and the patches are better and do make an improvement instead of screwing things up.
That's true. And I mean, one of the other reasons, apart from those two games, the other reason I wanted it was to future-proof, because I really, really cannot wait for Monster Hunter Wilds. And I know that the PS5 Pro will, be much better playing that with all the vast ways, open world, and all the animals that are going to be there, all the monsters that are going to be on the screen at once. So that'll be great. And also the big one, Death Stranding 2. I want to play Death Stranding 2 in the best quality possible on my sofa or on PlayStation.
Well, now you have that
ability. Home of Death Stranding until quite recently.
Yes. Nice.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I will keep letting people know what, because we're only keeping one, so I'll just have to cart it in and out of the office and the living room. But I'll keep you updated, see what it's like, what games get patched. Because when a game gets announced to have a big patch, if I've got it, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep us updated.
I'm trying to think what games I would like a patch for. Obviously, Red Dead Redemption 2 would be a dream. And yeah, I think that's the main one I'd like. But I doubt it.
Yeah.
All right. What about you? Have you played anything on PS5 Pro that surprised you? Or
I haven't really played it because you've been playing it. I've been playing on the Switch instead.
What have you been playing?
Because then I can just sit with handheld. But I've got a few games that I am playing and want to play. I really want to start Dragon Quest 3.
Yes, I played a little bit of that over in Japan.
You did?
And I just did the tutorial area. It's great because I played it and I had there's a world map and you go from town to town and you do your dungeon or whatever. And I was like, this is quite it's a all right size map. And then I realized that was the tutorial area, and actually the map is huge.
Yeah. So I have that, which I need to start. Actually, I've got 3 Dragon games. I've got because I want to play Dragon's Dogma 2 as well. I've got Dragon Quest to start, and I've also got Dragon Age to start. So I've got 3 Dragon games to play through.
Wow.
At some point. There's something else I'm playing, which I'll probably talk about in a couple of weeks. And the other game that I've been playing on Switch, which I was playing on the plane to and from Japan, is Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which obviously came out back in September, and I was saving so that I would have something new to play. Because I like a new holiday game.
Me too.
It's like you're going away, you're going to be traveling. It's nice to have something new to play. And inevitably, it ends up being a Switch game for me. I guess for you, you've got the Steam Deck. But
yeah, well, I played on my Analog Pocket.
And that as well, yes. So yeah, I usually end up buying a new little holiday game. Last year was Mario RPG, which was nice. I played that on holiday. And this time was Echoes of Wisdom, which I haven't finished yet, but I'm pretty far through it now. And I like it, I will say. It's not my favorite, but I do like it. I think I'm a big fan of Zelda anyway. So even the ones I don't like as much, I still really like. And I sort of hold the games to a higher standard, but I also just naturally appreciate them as they are. If you're not aware of this one, it came out on Switch, and it's the first one where you play as Zelda rather than Link. And that means that it has slightly different gameplay. So Zelda is accompanied by this little spirit thing called Tri, and she has the Tri Rod, dreadful names, the Tri Rod that allows her to create echoes of things around the world. Essentially, what that means is you can copy and paste. So that might be enemies, it might be beds, it might be chairs, it might be plants.
Can it be rocks?
It can be rocks.
Because then try hard.
Yep, that's a thing. Yes, and basically you use that to both solve puzzles and also in combat. So she doesn't really attack herself. She sort of summons echoes of enemies to attack for her. She also has a hero form, which is essentially play as Link, and you can then use your sword and also bow and other things as well. But that has a magic meter, so you're limited as to how much you can do it. It's got quite a cute story, which I like. The fact that you play as Zelda is really cool. There is the still world, which is this alternate reality where the world's getting sucked through these voids, so you have to close the voids. But Zelda's able to go into the still world, which is where all the dungeons are, and sort of bring the world back together again. It is top down. It's got this really cute style, just like Link's Awakening, which I adore. The graphics are beautiful. The performance is terrible.
Of the Zelda one, the new one.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Because Link's Awakening was...
Link's Awakening was not...
it wasn't great.
Mostly fine, but a few areas were not great.
I think it stuttered a lot.
Yeah, this stutters all the way through. It's not good performance, which is a shame. I think it's because the world is a lot bigger than Link's Awakening and other top-down Zeldas. So yeah, the performance is not great. It hasn't massively distracted me, but it is noticeable, which is a shame. Considering we're talking about frame rates today, it is noticeable.
Is it going to come out on the PS5 Pro?
It's not.
Oh.
Well, the Switch 2 is apparently going to be backwards... well, they're confirmed it's backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll run better on a Switch 2. Who knows? So there's a lot of things that I do really like about it. I think it's got some really, really clever ideas with the whole echoes thing. My problem is that I don't think it makes use of that very well. It is overall incredibly easy. I don't feel like I've been massively challenged.
Well, you were that time on the plane when you asked for my help.
Well, okay, in general, I haven't been massively challenged. That was also an optional chest that I just gave up on because it wasn't really worth it. But in general, it hasn't been particularly difficult. As long as you can summon enemies, they just battle for you. So it feels a little bit passive, which is fine because you're playing as Zelda and she's not Link. She's not the adventurer. So I like that it's different, but equally, I sort of want it to be more puzzly. I want the puzzles to be more fulfilling than they actually are. I feel like a lot of the time you can just cheat them. And it gives you all these echoes, which are all in a very long line. It's like Tears of the Kingdom, where you have all the different... what's it called? Where you merge them together.
What? Fuse?
Fuse, that's the one. All the different things you can fuse. Okay. And you know, so you've played Tears of the Kingdom, you know, you press up and then you can fuse and you've got to cycle through all the different things. It's the same with all the echoes, but you get so many. And a lot of them are just upgraded versions. It's like Moblin level 1 and then Moblin level 2. Once you've got level 2, why would you want level 1?
So it doesn't replace it?
No. So then it just adds to it. So you end up cycling for ages through them, which is just a bit of a pain. And most of them I just haven't used because there's not a use for them. Now, sure, it's giving you options, and maybe therefore it's down to me to be creative with what I do. But most of the time, there's a couple of fighting ones that are good, and then you can solve most puzzles by just piling up beds, which is a bit of a meme with the game, which is funny that you can just, you know, pile up beds. Also, it means you can sleep anywhere to regain your health. So why would you bother looking for hearts? Or why would you bother with potions or anything else? You can just sleep wherever you feel like it. There are also water blocks that you can pile up vertically. So if you want to get high, you just pile those up and then you can just swim upwards. And so there are loads of ways to cheat the puzzles.
Is that cheating or is that just using your initiative?
Well, maybe. And this is the whole argument now with Zelda, which Tears of the Kingdom really exacerbated, in that you can solve the puzzles in any way you like. And in some ways, that's really creative and it's fun. But in other ways, I feel like I'm not doing things in the optimal way. And then I feel like I'm playing the game wrong. And that's sort of how I feel a lot more with Echoes of Wisdom, really, than I did with even Tears of the Kingdom. So I just feel like I want the puzzles to be a bit more complex and to require more creativity than they actually do. So I just feel like the design, it's really clever ideas, but the design is letting it down a little bit. That then extends to the dungeons, where I think the dungeons are a real letdown. And that's, for me, one of the major parts of a Zelda game is the dungeons and the puzzle solving. And you want the dungeons to be memorable and iconic and to have really interesting, cool set pieces and ideas in them. You know, everyone remembers...
Link's Awakening, honestly, that had some frustrating ones, but actually the dungeons of that, they were very memorable.
The Eagle's Tower in that with the balls, and you've got to hit the
one
pillars.
that took me forever to realise.
That's a great dungeon. Or everyone remembers the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time because you're raising and lowering the water levels and stuff like that. And there are loads of other really memorable ones. I can barely remember any of the dungeons in this game.
It's probably got an age thing though as well.
No. Thank you very much. I did quite like the ice one because you have to sort of alternate between fire and ice in these mechanisms, which was kind of clever. But they're all really linear as well. You literally just go from room to room and it eventually takes you to the end. It's just, there's no branching paths. So I feel like the dungeons are a real letdown in this game, which is a shame. And I think as a result of all that, ultimately, I just feel like it's sort of Zelda by numbers, despite the fact that you're playing as Zelda. So therefore the gameplay is different. And I appreciate that. But equally, if you switch Zelda for Link, you'd be playing any other Zelda game. I don't feel like it's quite original enough. I don't think it's quite got enough of its own ideas. I don't think it makes good use of its new ideas. So ultimately, it is not the main Zelda team making this. It is a second team, and I think that is quite clear when you play it. That said, it's still very enjoyable. It's really cute. It's, you know, a very, very enjoyable game. I'm having a great time playing it. And I will absolutely finish it and probably get all the heart pieces and all of that kind of stuff because it's fun to explore and the world is cute. And like I say, it does have nice ideas. I just wish it pushed them a little bit further.
Could do better.
Could do better.
Right.
It's probably if I was harsh, I'd say a 7 out of 10. But it's probably an 8 out of 10.
Okay. But for what's the Zelda tax?
Zelda tax?
Yeah, other points that you add.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's why it's sort of a 7 or an 8. It's like, if I've got my harsh Zelda fan hat on, it's like I hold Zelda to a higher standard and this isn't quite hitting it. So it's a 7. But even without that, I'm like, it's still a good game.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I'll hopefully finish it soon. And I'm excited to see what the end is.
Good.
There we go.
Yeah, I've got no real desire, unfortunately.
Well, you better get back to Tears of the Kingdom then.
No, I'm playing Dragon's Dogma 2, which I do love.
Pick a game, Ben.
I have done.
Finish
I've been
it.
playing this game all week.
Well, can you finish it?
Sure, I'll just hog the TV the entire time.
Great, I've got a Switch to play. It's all good.
I will do that. I'll probably do some more later. I don't know. I really enjoy that. Although I have found a hack.
You say a hack.
So you've got pawns in the game, PAWN,
now?
prawns, and they're your people that it's like your companion. And mine's called Bingus.
Of course.
He's a little twink.
No, he's not. He's Bongus.
Bongus, sorry. I'm Bigus. He's Bongus. And you can set your pawn a quest. So, for example, you can be like, hey, you need to kill a Cyclops, and you will give 10 arrows. And then what you do is the pawn is available to be downloaded by, and if you're connected to the internet, anybody in the world could find your pawn and have them join their party, because you can have up to 4 people, including your pawn. So you invite 2 others, and those 2 others can be the stock ones that they've got, or it can be ones online. and they have quests attached to them. If the person sets it, you don't have to, but you can set a quest. And for example, there are a lot of people who are very generous with their pawns, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm going to."
We love it when people are generous with pawns.
Yeah, they set their quest at like get one something arrow or one poison arrow or whatever, and you'll get 10,000 coins. And that person that set it would have had to kind of donate 10,000 of their gold, which is quite hard to come by. But because they set it at like, oh, get one arrow, you only set it once. Like if 1,000 people did the quest, you don't have to give out all that money because you only need to set it up once. But obviously, you need a bit of money to kind of set it in the start. So there are a lot of people who've put their pawns available to be hired they've kept their pawn at a very low level somehow, and set them a task where, hey, get one of these poison arrows and you get 10,000 gold. And because the pawns are at a low level, it's free for you to hire them. So you can hire them, give them a poison arrow, which you had loads of, and then immediately get 10,000 gold, and then you can dismiss them and do it and find another person.
Sounds like cheating.
It's not cheating because it's in the game.
It sounds like cheating.
But it's definitely made...
I think you should be grinding and grafting for those coins yourself.
No, the gold, it just takes a little bit too long. And the one thing I do like about Dragon's Dogma is that it doesn't allow easy fast travel. But if I'm going to be grinding and that's fine. Don't make fast travel easy. Make it, especially like once in a main quest, you can fast travel back to where you started if you want to, if you've collected something, that sure. But if you want it to make it a bit of a slower paced game where it's all about the story and the epic traveling from one place to another and exploring things on the way, then don't make me also kind of grind for every tiny little bit of gold for an item or for some armor that you're going to replace a little bit further down the line. So yeah, I'm happy to do that with the money. I mean, it doesn't make too much difference. It just means I've got some better armor, but I still need to get like all the items for, upgrading the armor. So it's a little nice to have, but it means that if I switch, what they call it, when you switch vocations, which you can do quite easily, it means that I'll be able to have some armor or some decent armor for each time rather than have to kind of grind from scratch again. But I'll talk about that more next week because I'm going to be playing it a lot more. But yeah, I'm about 5-6 hours in, and I think I was about 12 hours in when I stopped on PC. So I still got a bit to go.
Nice. I will get to it myself at some point. Should we see what people have been playing?
Go on then. What have people been playing?
We start off with Madam Knees, who says, just finished Astrobot. It's nice to see a return to joy in gaming that has been missing for a while. Really enjoyed, but not sure it would have been worth the full price had I paid it. I paid $3.99 due to getting a voucher from work. Lucky. This is not a comment on quality, more to do with length. There were some really nice quality of life changes to the genre, and it was incredibly polished. Where I would have expanded it, perhaps, is not necessarily more levels, but altered ones like the prankster comets in Super Mario Galaxy, making you collect purple coins, restricting the amount of time. Maybe making you solve the stages with an alternative power-up would be interesting.
Yeah, and I think they have done that with the speed levels or the speed stuff.
Well, the speedrun levels are giving you a little extra thing for free, which is nice. I actually haven't gone back to play those. But,
same.
I would love it if they did keep updating it and keep adding more of the little, what are they called? Bots.
Yeah, because I mean, they get the levels that you play, they are awesome and stuff, but there's so much effort put into them, and they're really like very unique. But you kind of just race from the start to the end and collect things along the way.
Yeah, well, the collectibles aren't particularly difficult to find, and I think because you get that little item that basically locates everything for you, it's really easy to 100% every level really quickly,
and then you don't go back to it again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Riley says, I've started Dragon Age the Veilguard. No spoilers, but I've been loving it so far. Everything just flows so smoothly in combat. It's fast-paced and exciting, and I love the scenery. I do need to start it. I fear that I'm going to spend 3 hours in the character creator at the start. I've heard that the character creator is the best that has been out.
Dragon's Dogma 2 has a very good character. I generally spent an hour.
You did make a hot man.
A very hot man.
With big arms.
Yeah, slightly big arms for a twink. He's a twunk.
Your favourite kind?
Yeah, it looks a little bit like you.
No, he does not.
In my eyes, he does.
Well, that's very flattering.
That's what
no.
I see. That's how I see you, Ed.
I'm very shocked.
With those little.
And
horny
how
arms.
about Bongus?
Bongus is just a small, skinny spaghetti twink, which is also.
As long as that's not me.
No, he's blonde.
Okay.
With a mohawk.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Shocking taste.
He's
Jackie
a chav.
B.
He's definitely a chav.
Wow. Jackie B.
Chavvy spaghetti twink.
Can you get rid of that porn and get a proper one then, please?
I can hire 2 others. We have four. 4's always more fun.
And do you always have men? Has the game commented on that yet?
Yes, it did once, but that was pure coincidence. Now I just go for whoever's the strongest.
Okay.
Actually, no, I don't now.
Yeah.
Because you can select the requirements so that the only ones that appear that you can pick from are the ones that because before I would pick the ones from a great pool and the best ones, but now I can be very specific and kind of filter the ones I don't need. So then I get a larger pool of ones that are exactly what I'm looking for. So now I can be picky about what they look like. I've got one guy who's actually quite tattooed, kind of got longish. He's a little bit like Pete Wick.
Oh no.
But paler.
Oh no.
He's like a Pete Wick crossed with V from Devil May Cry.
I mean, V's acceptable, but Pete Wick.
A gothy vampire Pete Wick.
If you're not from the UK, you're not going to know who Pete Wick is, but he's in The Only Way is, or was from The Only Way is Essex, and he is currently in this season of Strictly, and he needs to get out because he's terrible at dancing.
I'd never heard of him before watching Strictly. I thought he was the guy that did the drinking his own piss.
No, well, not that, but you're thinking of Joe Wick.
Does he drink his piss?
I don't know. He's the fitness guy.
Okay,
If
goes
that's
on.
what you're thinking about.
Yes. No, who's the other one that drinks his wee and shits through a gauze and then
no idea
grills it? Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls. There we go.
Very different.
Yeah.
Entirely different names.
Okay. I don't know. It's just some kind of man, get fit, drink piss.
Get fit, drink piss.
Yeah. It's Ed's grinder profile.
Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Right. Anyway, Jackie B has been playing a couple of games.
Sorry, where were we?
This week. I haven't been sinking a ton of time into any of them, just playing them casually. The first one is Web Fishing. It's a cute little fishing game where you design yourself a cute little anthropomorphic animal character and go fishing on your island by yourself or with your friends. It's a fun but simple game, so the price of $5 on Steam feels very reasonable. It sounds like just fishing and Animal Crossing in a cute way.
Speaking of relaxing games, we need to talk about at some point, maybe next week, about the Pokemon card game.
Well, it's funny you say that because Jackie's next game.
Oh.
I've also been casually playing the new Pokemon trading card game on my phone. You get to open 2 booster packs of cards each day, and your goal is to build decks to battle against the computer, your friends, or random online opponents for points and prizes. It's really fun. I haven't been playing a ton and haven't spent a single IRL dollar in game, and I'm still able to put together pretty decent decks that do fairly well. There are currently 3 different themed booster packs that you can pick from to open, but they will obviously add more cards and themed booster packs in the future, and I'm looking forward to it. The next booster packs are coming this year, they've said. They're due this year. Whatever they may be. The next event round has already been data mined and is coming in December. But I won't say because it's spoilers. And then they've said that early next year will be trading.
Good. And I know that they said that you're not going to be able to trade everything, or at least to start with. But yeah. I think what I would be happy with them doing is if they allowed you to trade, let's say, the ones that like the basic evolution ones. So, for example, the Bulbasaurs and the Charmanders, and then a month later down the line you can do the next evolution, because you'll see that the different rankings based on how much if you want to buy the cards in the game with like the pack points, you can see that some cost 25 or whatever, some cost 50, some 750, some 75, some 150. So you can see like the ones that are rarer and rarer. So like maybe for the first month after when a pack comes out, 3 months later you can trade the basic cards, and then a month after that you can trade the rare ones. And then maybe you can never trade the ultra rare ones, I can imagine.
Maybe. Speaking of pack points, I did not realize until earlier yesterday, and then I wrote an article on it, that your poker points expire.
I usually spend them.
See, I don't. I've been
Pack
saving
points,
them
aren't
all.
they? Pack points.
Pack points, yes. Which I keep forgetting to spend anyway, but it's in the bottom right, the little icon in the booster pack page, and then you click on that, and then you can literally just buy any of the cards, but they're
Almost any, I think.
almost any. And that's really useful if you've got a collection that you need to fulfill the requirements for, and you've got one left. You're like, oh, I'll just buy that one and tick it off.
I finally got a Blastoise because I kept going and opening the pack because it tells you which pack they're in, and it was telling me it was in the Pikachu pack. And I opened up about 10 Pikachu packs in a row over the last week or so, and not a single one had one. So I'm like, you know what? I just bought it, and then it unlocked a collection.
There you go.
Which I posted on Blue Sky, which is right in front of me.
Oh,
there
nice.
you go. Look at that there. I've caught all of them.
I've got that one as well, I think.
See,
Some
people just have all the luck.
Well, it's
called Different Journeys, Different Growth, and it's the Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur, Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise, and Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard.
Nice. I mean, the whole thing is just luck, but it is very fun. I will say I stopped because you had the free trial for the Battle Pass, whatever it's called, which I then cancelled. So now I can only do you can open fewer booster packs, I feel like my luck has got worse.
Yeah,
but maybe it's just because it's fewer numbers, but I also feel slightly less inclined to play it because of that. But I also think once you get to a higher level, you don't. I feel like I'm running out of missions, so I've sort of got less of a reason to play it. Equally, I've realized that the battles give you a lot of experience, so they're really good for getting your level up quickly. So when I'm just off on the train, actually doing battles has been quite fun.
Yeah, I've not been doing battles recently actually, but I'm level 19 and I've got to the point where I've got nearly all of the cards. So I've got 206 out of 226. So yeah, I'm only 20 off like all of them, plus then 24 starred ones and one. I've only got one superstar one. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. But
are they the ones you can go in?
No, because I've got like 3 of those, but it says 1 with like a crown. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's it's the one it's probably right at the very end, isn't it? It's because they have promo A. I don't know. Is it the shiny Pikachu thing? Is it the Pikachu X?
Maybe.
Because that's like the last one on mine. But I don't know. It's I really enjoy it. I love it.
It's a very fun little game.
And I did put a little bit. I didn't put much, but I put a little bit of money in, to get some packs. But yeah, I just every time that I have any time, like the time boost things, or if I've got one to open, I'll open them. I was chatting about this with DanTDM, to just drop a name in here.
Oh, here we go.
No, I had a chat with DanTDM has he has donated over £300,000 for Gosh for these rocking R carts featuring Switchers and Xboxes, and yeah, it means that patients at Great Ormond Street can now play games on the Switchers, and they can have a great time while they're going through a really rough time. So they can play games, and he generously did that. But he was at an event, a little like a gaming board networker event the other day, and yeah, I was chatting with. I met him before. Said he remembered me, but we had a good chat because he was asking about Japan, and so obviously I was telling everything about Japan, and then we got into Pokemon because I didn't realize, but he was like one of the reasons he became big was through Pokemon.
Oh,
like before Minecraft, I think, or at least alongside. But like, yeah, Pokemon was a big. Like he was opening cards or something, but yeah, he became quite big through Pokemon. So, and he was saying that he loves the game, but he hasn't spent anything. He's kept it as a free game.
Yeah, same.
So
same.
Sensible, very sensible man.
Yes,
and very generous.
Clasco says, I recently tried Tetris Effect Connected with a friend. It was more fun than I thought. But how fun was it, Clasco?
It was really
Why
fun.
was it fun? Give us some context. Tell us more.
Oh no, you sound like an English teacher. But it was Tetris Effect Connected. Oh, that's the Tetris Effect kind of Game of the Year edition, isn't it? It's the multiplayer. I think it's the multiplayer one.
There's too many versions of Tetris. I don't
There's
really
a new
like any of them.
There's like have you seen the Tetris documentary game that's out pretty much?
No.
It's like, I'm sure there's a new Tetris game. And it's a little bit like, I think it's a bit like that Atari 51.
I just get really bored with Tetris.
Well, it's because you've got
And they're
a really...
all the same.
Oh. Where's the new Tetris game? No, I don't want to play it free in browser. No, Tetris Forever.
Oh, yeah.
Tetris Forever was only 3 out of 5. And yeah, you play through like 40 years of history of Tetris and...
So the same game over 40 years.
It's not though, is it?
Isn't it?
Different variations.
You're always seeing blocks fall and making a line. That is not fun to me.
But there are different things.
There's
one
things.
in VR and other and 99 and 40 captivating years of Tetris. Includes more than 15 playable classic levels, classic Tetris games, and an all-new Tetris game, Tetris Time Warp. And why are people criticizing it? Super fun game and effort. Fortunately, it doesn't have online play. Love Tetris. It's just a bunch of emulators. You can do it. Yeah, but not everybody steals games.
Like, I appreciate it's one of those like simple ideas that has become long-lasting.
Zelda.
But it's just not a game I wish to spend time playing.
Well, it's okay. Not everybody can appreciate classics. The classics.
Says the guy that refuses to play anything on an old console because the fraps per second aren't high enough.
Oh,
for
no,
you.
they do. Because remember, 60 FPS was like the PS2 staple. Nearly 80% of the games on the PS2 was 60 FPS.
You refuse to play almost any old games.
Oh God, I am trying to
Better yourself.
Yes, I'm trying to get a Polymega so that I can play a lot of old games. I don't dislike old games.
You've
What
changed.
old games? Yeah, I have changed actually.
Yeah.
I mean, genuinely, like I wouldn't play Final Fantasy VII as a kid because Final Fantasy VIII was coming out, and I was like, I'm not playing the old game.
What an idiot! What an absolute idiot!
I also didn't like to play pre-owned games because I was like, no, I only play new.
What a poncy idiot!
Yeah, it was horrible.
And you call me out for things like that.
But the thing is, at that age, it's your upbringing, it's not you. So I'm going to blame my parents.
Oh, sure. Anyway, Randy Pasta has also been playing Dragon Age the Veilguard and has completed it.
How much?
The story is BioWare back at its best. I won't go into details, but it's the first game in a while to make me feel something. But what did you feel? Who were you feeling? Did you feel yourself? Tell us more.
I know that game is...
It's
Randy.
definitely one of those stories that stays with you for a while after you finish playing. The combat is faster paced than Inquisition and much more enjoyable. I think my only advice for BioWare fans is to take your time and do everything. Don't rush through the game. That goes for any game. Never rush it. If you're enjoying it, take your time.
Yeah.
That goes for a lot of things in life, really.
Like Tetris.
No,
Tetris will
rush
make
Tetris.
Yeah,
Rush through
you'll
it
run out
and
of
then
time.
Don't pick it up again. And then lastly, we've got Chaddy. Oh no, not lastly, sorry. There's a couple more. Hopefully not missed this. You haven't missed it, Chaddy. Don't worry. Played quite a mix this week. Restarted the first Watch Dogs, and I'm a few missions in. I think I played it last when it got first released, and I barely remember any of the story, so it feels fresh. I've never played a Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs 2 is great.
That's a lie. I played a small amount of the one set in London and got really irritated with the accents.
I quite liked that. We had Pam, the oldest woman with a real Cockney accent, like from
yeah,
the
but
Barmaid.
everyone has a Cockney accent. Oh, I love everyone in London talks like this. Are you in Watch Dogs? Yeah, we're gonna like get rid of the AI. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's how people do
that
talk
is
here.
not realistic.
Yes,
That
it
is
is.
not how people in London talk.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is.
It's really not. Anyway, continuing. Chaddy, I've started playing a bit more Forbidden West too. That's Horizon. Didn't realise I could upgrade for free, having had the PS4 disc, so that was a nice surprise. Game looks pretty, and I remember the first one being a slow burn, so I'm hoping it grabs me like the first did. I think the difficulty this one has with the story is a lot is already established and expected, and I can't see too many surprises coming, but we will see. That's part of the reason I got bored with it, to be honest.
Forbidden West was actually another one that I tried on the PS5 Pro, and because I think we tried a 4K, we tried like quality. I don't know. That's had a few different options on there as well. And I think I just switched it to performance. I think you can play performance 4K, And I was like, oh, it seems all right. But then I started playing it and I was like, I don't like this game. It's just not fun to play. I don't want to be... It's one of those games that when it knocks you over, it takes you fucking forever to get back up again. And then it's done like 3 more attacks on the ground and you just get really frustrated and annoyed.
Yeah.
Just don't enjoy it.
I feel that. Finally, been playing Fortnite and I've been so into it. This season I think is short and I've already almost completed the Battle Pass. There's no real fancy weapons or ridiculous movement tools, and I think I like the more basic style of Fortnite. Sniping and shooting feels more satisfying to me. Just wish I had more time to play everything. I mean, isn't that a mood?
Fortnite's OG is coming. Is that part of the questions later, the quiz?
No.
So yeah, they're bringing back the OG. I don't know if it's like I don't think it's like season 1, but I think it's part of the first 8 seasons. The map, and I think it's got its own battle pass.
It does have its own battle pass, yes.
But is it like the old style, or is it just... No. I need to look into
I don't know what the style of... Well, how does the style of battle
it used
pass
to be
differ?
like it used to be just like
I
every
play Fortnite.
level used to have one thing, whereas now you get like coins for leveling up, and you unlock things on the battle pass with coins. Yeah, let's have a quick.
I just don't really have a lot of interest in it.
It will have its own battle pass, but yeah, is it the old?
I don't think it says in that article because I proofread it.
Yeah, it just says the old OG as well as the game's names battle pass plus the iteration will all be included in the crew thing, which is okay. Yeah, I want to know what the battle pass is going to be like, because I used to like the one where it's like every level you would unlock something.
It comes on 6th of December, so there you go. And then lastly, Mr. Wibble. Most significant game I played and finished is Luigi's Mansion 3.
Great game.
What a fucking good game. Can't really spend too many words on it, but please do, Mr. Wibble. It's just such a fun and friendly game. I will complain about the final boss fight, though, because there just does not seem to be a tell to figure out who the right target is. But maybe that's just because I'm slow. Anyway, really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for a new one. I actually can't remember the final boss.
I remember being a bit frustrated about it as well.
Is it the Big Boo, or is that the first
I think
one?
you're on the roof, obviously.
Yeah, see, the first Luigi's Mansion game, you're on the roof, and you have to fight a Big Boo.
Maybe.
King Boo. I can't quite remember it.
I cannot remember it at all.
Never mind.
Just that it was on the roof.
Anyway, that's what everyone's been playing this week.
Excellent. So we're going to do the news quiz.
The news quiz. Sure. No, I've tried to make it a little easier for you this week after complaints. So I've gone slightly easier.
Right. By the way, if you're wondering why this podcast is a little bit faster and Ed's kind of speaking a little bit faster, it's because I'm making him record this before food, so we don't spend 3 hours rambling and going off on one. And I think you've been a lot more efficient.
Wow.
Also, you just had been to the gym as well, so you kind of just want to bury yourself somewhere, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, let's go and do the quiz then. Snap, snap.
Wow.
Chop, chop.
Now, can I ask you a question? How much are you editing?
I thought there were 5. No, I'm not.
Okay, well then I need to be snappy with my questions then,
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't written them, so I need to word it in my head before I speak it to you.
Well, while you're thinking, are we going to announce the breaking news of Roller Coaster Tycoon, or is that one of the questions?
It's not one of the questions, so go ahead.
Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic is coming to Switch. There you go.
Yay.
And it's the original 2 games, I think, plus all expansions. And I don't know, I played a little bit on Steam and paid it like £3 for it. And I was like, this is my childhood and there's so much content.
I can't imagine playing that with a controller though. Like
yeah, apparently it does.
I don't know, sim games in general, I need a mouse, but especially that I played as a kid with a mouse, I don't think I could get my head around.
Apparently
buttons.
it originally was on mobile with touchscreen. So I don't know if you can play it with touch controls, touchscreen controls.
I doubt it.
Yeah, the Switch doesn't really use the touchscreen at all, does it?
No, which is a shame. It is a real shame. Okay, let me see if I... do you want the answers straight afterwards, or we're doing all the questions and then we'll go
Let's
back?
do all the questions, then people can write them down. So get your notepad and pens. No cheating, no looking up the answers. Go on then.
Okay, and remember, this is all... The answers aren't in the news, but they're loosely based on the news. So, question 1. One of...
Sorry, now I'm ready. Go on.
That was fucking rude.
Sorry, I hungry.
You're telling
Can you
me.
give me a bit of water? Just pour it in.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I'm very thirsty.
Fusspot over here.
Thank you.
I'll also wet my whistle.
Well, not on public. Not in public. Oh, with
Okay.
those grey joggers on.
Oh, come on. Right. When you're ready.
Right, I'm ready.
You said that with some determination.
I'm ready.
Okay. We're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Question 1.
Oh, wait. I'm not ready. I'm going to write the answers down so you know that I'm not going to cheat. Was this a Zelda thing?
That is I think it's Final Fantasy.
Oh, it's Final Fantasy. Why do I have this?
Because you were given it.
By whom?
Square Enix.
Oh, thank you, Square Enix. I will use it for this. I was like,
It
is this
came
part
with
of
Dawn
some...
Trail.
Oh, is this the Dawn Trail one? Okay, cool. Well, that's great. I'll make use of it. This can be my quiz thing. Okay, ready?
Are you actually ready this time?
I am ready.
Okay.
Can I move on?
Question 1.
Right.
The big news story this week is that Sony is looking to buy Kadokawa, which is the owner of From Software, which is very exciting. And Sony published Bloodborne, which was made by FromSoft.
Oh.
But what year was Bloodborne released?
I know exactly where I was when it came out because I bought it, played it for an hour, and sold and sent it back.
You what now?
I died a lot, and it was like a minute and a half between loadings. I was like, I'm not doing this. This is just frustrating.
Get a grip.
I knew exactly where was I living then. Oh,
I may need to sneeze.
okay. Oh! Look to the light. Look to the light. There we go. It's gone.
Okay, I'm good.
Right. I think I'm. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that one.
Okay. Question 2.
Mm-hmm.
This week, Square Enix announced Final Fantasy XIV Mobile, and who knows if that is going to work. Now, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn include the twins Alphino and Alice, but what is their surname?
Oh.
And I will require correct spelling.
Oh. I don't know. I remember, yes. Damn it. Like, there's a family member that I've been speaking to so much in the latest 2 expansions, or at least the previous expansion, and now I can't remember. Oh, wait. Yes.
There we go. He's got it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Now I remember.
Question number 3. So yesterday it was revealed that Dragon Quest III is already the top-selling game in Japan this year.
It's a Dragon Quest game. I
Within
think
a week.
We realized that when we were there. We're like,
exactly. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the original designer of the characters in Dragon Quest was Akira Toriyama, who is famous for which popular manga?
Manga, that's the comic book, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
Although this has been made into an anime. And a number of other things.
Beano.
So that's Akira Toriyama, famous for which popular manga? And he did the character designs for Dragon Quest.
Is the name a giveaway?
I'm not giving you any hints here.
Right. Next one.
Next one. Question 4. We had the nominations this week revealed for this year's The Game Awards.
Is that like the Golden Joysticks?
I mean, does anyone care about any of the awards?
Yes, everybody does. Like, have you not seen the internet?
Well, are they correct? Who knows? Can you name the last 3 games of the year?
No, I can't.
You can. This is very easy. So 2023, 2022, and 2021. What were the games of those years?
No idea.
You've played all 3.
I know. There were lots of games. I have no idea. Sorry. Next. I genuinely, I'm like, I don't know. There were so many games that came out. Like, if you gave me 10 games of each of those 3 years, I might be able to pick the one.
Okay, what was last year's game of the year?
No idea. It Takes Two. Was It Takes Two?
No, that was 3 years ago. So you've answered one of them.
Oh, shit.
Well, there you right. We're sticking with the original then. All three. Name. You've got one already. What was the biggest game of last year, and what was the biggest game of the year before that?
Starfield.
No. They're both RPGs.
Okay.
Everyone else is screaming right now.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay. So I've got It Takes Two. Everyone gets that one for free.
There you go.
Plus that one. And okay, then maybe I did get it right. Let's see.
Okay, and question 5.
Maybe not actually. No, I've got 2. Right, question number 5.
Right, question 5. Pokemon TCG Pocket has been in the news for various different things. Essentially, it's doing really well. Now, this is another can you name question. Can you name 4 of the 8 evolutions? So these are the Pokemon that Eevee evolves into, and there are 8. But I'll give you points if you can get 4 of them. And a clue: they all end in Eon.
Yeah.
They're all elements as well.
Yeah. Okay. I got 2. We'll go for 2. Right then. Okay. So should we go through the answers?
Let's go through them. So, question 1. Bloodborne was released in which year?
So I'm going to go for 2013.
You are a little bit early, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I thought it might be.
It's 2015.
Oh, that late.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a remake then.
No, it's perfectly fine.
Okay, so that's wrong.
It plays very well.
I remember where I was. I was in Barcelona. I think was it a similar...
You were there for quite a few years, though.
Yeah, but it was in my first flat. And was it around the same time as Fallout 4 then?
I don't know. They're both PS4. I can tell you that much.
Let me Google, because I know I was in the same place where I got Fallout 4 and I didn't like that either.
I mean, Fallout 3 is better, but still.
Fallout 4 was 2015 again?
There you go.
It was right.
There you go.
Do I get a point?
No.
Okay.
You did not get it right. Question 2. What is the surname of Alphino and Alisaie, the twins in Final Fantasy XIV?
Leveilleur?
Indeed. Can you spell that for me?
Yes. Okay, next.
Fine. Question 3. Akira Toriyama is best known for which manga?
I'm going to say Death Note. Or Akira.
No.
Oh.
Dragon Ball.
Was that a manga?
Originally, yeah.
Oh. I thought it was just a kid's TV show.
Well, it became an anime, but it was a manga first. So yeah, Akira Toriyama. So he's best known for Dragon Ball, and he did the designs for Dragon Quest. He also did Chrono Trigger and Blue Dragon.
Oh, good for him.
For games.
I've never seen a single thing. I don't have a clue what Dragon Ball's about.
All I know is Super Saiyan or whatever.
And the K-pop band.
Yes. And yeah, I recognize the characters. Goku.
The orange dude.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I've no idea what it is.
There we go. Question 4 is naming the previous 3 winners of Game of the Year at the Game Awards. So let's start with 2021, which you've got right already.
It Takes Two.
There we go. 2022.
So yeah, I think I've got 2023.
Okay, what do you think is 2023?
Elden Ring. What?
2022.
Oh, I thought it was
Elden Ring.
Okay.
So what was 2023?
I can't remember.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good. Do I get 2?
No, because you got the year wrong.
Okay.
And question 5 is naming 4 of the 8 evolutions. So what have you written down?
Vaporeon.
Correct.
Flareon.
Correct.
Iceon.
Glaceon is what you're thinking of.
Windian.
No.
Indian. Ghostian?
No, there isn't a ghost one actually. There should be.
No
What
idea.
grows on trees?
Wood?
Fucking hell, Ben.
What?
Leaves.
Oh, Leafian?
Leafian. There you go.
That's not
There's
a real one.
That is one.
That's fake. That'll be a what they're
What
called.
happens
That's definitely a Digimon.
with an electric shock? What happens?
Digimon?
No.
Oh, Electabuzz.
No.
Oh.
Jolteon.
Jolteon, yes.
Okay. And then there's the psychic one.
Psycheon?
Espeon.
Ah.
There's the dark one. Umbreon.
Yeah, okay, good. I
and,
didn't know you said
there's,
what.
and there's the trans rights fairy one.
I can't make a joke about anything that's going through my head.
Sylveon.
Oh.
So we've got Sylveon, Umbreon, Espeon, Vaporeon, Glaceon, Flareon, Jolteon, and Leafeon.
Well, I got 2. Can I get a point?
I'll give you a pity point because you fucked up most of the others.
Thank you. Okay, so I got 2.
These were easier this week, I thought.
Where they vote? I don't know. I don't like, can you name blah, blah, blah. Name 17, states of matter. No, let's not. No, it's fine.
I
think
can't win with these questions.
I think me getting stressed while you're asking the questions is just part of the game. It's part of what people like.
Well, do they? Let us know what your scores were.
And if you beat me, can you beat the Ben? Because nobody beat me the last few weeks. Maybe this time they will.
Time.
Yeah. Live a year. You don't have to spell it correctly.
No, I'll let you off.
Mm.
Well,
So
there we go.
That was very good. Thank you very much for putting a lot of time and effort into
I
that.
did
Yeah, when?
before we recorded this.
Sat on the bed. I was like, why are you taking forever? All right. Well, that was the news, and that was the podcast.
It was.
What have we got coming up?
Not a lot actually, which I'm quite happy about because we've had a busy couple of weeks of holiday, and it's back to work. And now let's just enjoy our evenings and weekends with some games.
Yeah, sounds great.
And
Baldur's
not
Gate.
spend any
No,
money.
Dragon's Dogma. Yeah, need to start saving now. I kind of hope that the Polymega doesn't come in stock because
We'll see.
All right, Ed, where can we find you?
You can find me at Ed. Well, I was going to say at Ed_Nights, but I'm going to just say Ed Nights on various platforms.
Because on Blue Sky, you're just Ed Nights, aren't you?
Yeah, I think it's Ed Nights, Blue Sky, whatever stuff it is.
I think that's the standard username.
Yeah, but just, Ed Nights. Search for that. You'll probably find me.
Excellent. And I am Biggest Benus everywhere where it matters, which is what I can say now.
Sure.
Because I don't post on Twitter now. I just can't be asked. It's just full of misery. Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. Go to swappingjoysticks.com if you want to go and make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes and Spotify. If you do, then thank you very much because it gives us extra points and boosts us up in the ratings, whatnot. So make sure you do that as well.
Please be nice to us.
Have you done it?
No.
Go and do it. And leave us a comment if you want. I think we're rated 5 out of 5 on either Spotify or Apple.
Well, someone's not listening to us.
It's all Moni's accounts. Thank you, Moni.
Thanks, Money.
All right. Thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you there. Oh, listening as well. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Bye.